Thank you, Mr. Scott. Chairman Smith, thank you. You have indeed opened our eyes to much of what we were only dimly aware. And I thank you for that. And I want you to know that, as you could see from the committee on both sides of the aisle, we're very concerned about improving the credit status of our farmers. And I would hope that you would look to our committee as your spear to make sure that we in Congress are doing everything we can. And when I say at the point of the spear, I mean that because this is the subcommittee for agriculture dealing with credit. We, as Doc Holliday said at the gunfight at OK Corral, he said when he looked at the bad guys, he said, "I'm your huckleberry." So look to us as that. Now, I just want to ask you a series of questions. First of all, are you getting the budget from us that you need to do the job?
Yes, Chairman. What we have requested and the current needs that we see as far as our labor force, we're a fiery institution, so we feel we have a great pool of very talented people that work for FCA. Certainly as people in my age group, two of these gentlemen here at the table are new to our senior management team as of the last year, so retirements can be a challenge. And our examination force makes up 55% of our total workforce. And we'd mentioned in our previous conversations that we interview at 30 different colleges and universities, many of them land-grant universities. Mm-hmm. And we talked about the importance of that, the importance of diversity. With that, I believe, yes, we do have the resources, but if we see continued deterioration, we need to see a continued involvement of FCA in what's going on out there. We appreciate the opportunity to expand on that at some point.
Yes, please let us know. And as you know, you mentioned the land-grant colleges and universities. That's one of the areas that we have expanded on. And with the last Farm Bill, we were able to get $80 million yes. put in there for scholarships and movement. And we want that to grow, and we want it to be permanent. Yes. Secretary Perdue and I work very closely on that, as you know, and the Agriculture Department. That will start in 2020. And finally, our job is to really get funding out. And I want to ask you to give us your opinion on Congress's performance given the emergency funding process. I really want you to give us some answer to what did we do? What did we do to contribute to the additional hardship of our farmers by dragging our feet up here and not getting the emergency funding down to our farmers in time? What role did that play in our farmers not having the capital to succeed? What role did that play, as you and I talked about, the mental anguish of not getting? You see, I know that several of those suicides were done, they had nothing. And then the storms came. They're going to come again. Yes. We don't know. We have not done what we should be doing in getting the professionals, the scientists, the people who have the information of what's going on. And so I'd love for you to just give me your opinion on how devastating an impact we had in not getting this aid to our farmers in time as a result of these series of hurricanes.
Well, Chairman, disaster situations like that with farmers that are in a bad position anyway just exponentially catapults it. Mm-hmm. And certainly every day that that's delayed gets closer to that operation failing, which nobody wants. I mentioned that we try to be proactive in working with our borrowers. We send out guidelines to the associations to be proactive, to enlist the help of additional loan staff, financial staff to help these farmers with plans to get over these deficiencies, but the clock's ticking.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that interest bill continues to tick. So certainly it's a bad situation, and it's a bad situation on top of a situation that may not be that stable anyway.
Yeah. Well, several of us are very determined that that never happens again.
Yes.
And that's it's, we need to, as members of Congress, know what we are doing to not only help the problem, but are the things that we're doing and not doing that exasperate it as well. And that was one of them, and we hope it doesn't happen again. Well, we got your marching orders on what we need to do most, and as I understand it, it is get these trade deals moving, particularly UMCA and the China trade. And Mr. David Graham spoke eloquently of the interest rates, and we'll see what we can do up on that. And I think somebody also mentioned the fragile land values.
Yes.
I don't know what we can do about that one, but we can certainly do all we can. But you got my commitment as chairman of this committee, and I think I speak for all of us, that we will use every energy we got to get these trade deals moving, because that is something that's in our ballpark. We'll do it. With that, I believe now I am to, thank you, my dear, Miss Ashley Smith, who is, I would say, give her a hand. She is my longtime partner, and as we know, with child, and I'm doing all I can to get her home. But she won't. She's so dedicated to her work. So thank you, Ashley. Under the rules of the committee, the record of today's hearing will remain open for 10 calendar days to receive additional material and supplementary written responses from the witnesses to any questions posed by a member. This hearing of the Subcommittee on Commodities, Changes, Energy, and Credit is adjourned.